So if your boss is an MSNBC, which is sort of sometimes called like a liberal Fox, I don't think it's entirely fair. If you were asked to do any of that stuff, what would you say?
I would say no, but I would never be asked that.
But I'm asking, it's a hypothetical.
Well, I don't do hypotheticals, A.
Okay.
But B, look, I think this is an important piece to dive into because MSNBC has a very high standard of what is factual. You have to go through a process before you report things on air.
What?
MSNBC has a
very high standard of what is factual. You have to go through a process before you report things on air.
Oh, really?
You're a member of the Judiciary. Do you believe the president right now has been an agent of the Russians?
Yes, I think there's more evidence than he is. Yes, and I think all the arrows point in that direction, and I haven't seen a single piece of evidence that he's not.
An agent like in the 1940s where we had people who are Reds, to use an old term, like that. In other words, working for a foreign power.
He's working on behalf of the Russians, yeah.
Okay.
MSNBC has a very high standard of what is factual.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly. It is not generally speaking unruly. But fires have been started.
You have to go through a process before you report things on air.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else.
Very high standard of what is factual.
There's so many questions about the provenance of this material. A lot of it does look legitimate. There are pictures of Hunter Biden, there are videos, there are emails, but we have no idea, and neither does the New York Post, whether any of it was doctored or forged or faked, and that's why the mainstream news media has declined to really touch this story, because it just lacks credibility.
You have to go through a process before you report things on air.
You said it.
MSNBC has a very high standard.
It's